good morning and many thanks for joining us on the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We're broadcasting live on the network service of the NTA. I'm Chiwobi Walter Naji.
And I'm Comfort Amodu. Many thanks for joining us on the news. Let's get started with the headlines.
Nigeria and Bangladesh to expand on agriculture and military cooperation.
Hope on the horizon as Nigeria's National Career Project makes 2021 aviation budget.
Less than 2 weeks to reopening of NYSC camps across the country. Hoodlums loot Kubwa camp.
We don't have any palliative there. Please, so you can imagine the youth here carted away with our uniform. It is illegal for you to use NYC uniform. And if you are caught, you go to jail for 3 years.
And history in the making as President Buhari nominates INEC chairman for a second term in office.
Welcome to the program. Let's start on a bilateral level as Nigeria and Bangladesh have agreed to expand cooperation in critical economic sectors, especially agriculture and military.
Now, both countries made the pledge when President Muhammadu Buhari received the outgoing High Commissioner of Bangladesh to Nigeria, Shaman Ashan, in Abuja. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has details.
It was a virtual farewell audience for the outgoing High Commissioner of Bangladesh to Nigeria, Shamim Ashan. President Muhammadu Buhari congratulated the envoy on the strides attained at enhancing bilateral relations between the two countries. Nigeria, he said, will continue to expand on achievements recorded so far, especially in agriculture, military cooperation, and many other areas for the greater good of all. The outgoing High Commissioner, Shamim Ashan, thanked Nigeria for the support he received in about 2.5 years he spent in the country. He noted with satisfaction that during the period, bilateral relations between the two countries improved tremendously, with many memoranda of understanding signed and others still in the works. He said over 60 delegates visited Nigeria from Bangladesh for different purposes during his tour of duty. As he puts it, I and my wife will surely miss beautiful Nigeria. Nigeria and Bangladesh established diplomatic relations in the mid-70s and share membership of several international organizations like the Commonwealth, D8 countries, and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And in the meantime, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says engagements with the Nigerian youth has to be transparent and honest in order to build a progressive society and nation. The Vice President says it was for this reason that the implementation of the social investment programs was done in a transparent manner such that every Nigerian could benefit. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that the Vice President stated this when he received the Executive Committee of the Young Parliamentarians Forum led by the Chairman Karu Tukura from Kebbi State. During the interaction, the Vice President acknowledged the crucial role of the youth in nation building, but also adds that the youth are not just a demography, but are in the majority, which places a responsibility on government to find a way of mainstreaming them effectively. He welcomed the support of members of the newly formed National Economic Council Committee, made up of members of the House of Representatives, set up to interface with youths and other key players on issues of employment, social safety nets, and national unity. For his part, leader of the delegation, Elisha, commended the Vice President's interaction with the youths over the years, especially in the wake of the EndSARS protests, and called for improved interaction between youths and leaders at all levels.
And President Mahmoud Buhari yesterday forwarded the name of the current INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to the Senate for confirmation for a second term in office.
Now, what makes this nomination historic in the political history of Nigeria? Let's join our INEC correspondent, Mia Ogidi, for some answers.
A man on a journey to make history and break the jinx in the INEC family. When confirmed by the Senate, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu will be the first INEC chairman to serve twice in the political history of Nigeria. From Justice Ephraim Akbata, Dr. Abel Gubadia, Professor Maurice Iwu, to Professor Tairu Jiga, there was no renewal of tenure. For some, he is the smiling chair. Others describe him as the digital chairman. From Bauchi State and 58 years old, first-class honors in history from the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, masters in international relations from the Cambridge University, PhD in philosophy and history from the Oxford University at the age of 29, two-time Dean Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences at the Nigerian Defense Academy, and former Executive Secretary of TED Fund, and now the INEC chairman. As INEC chairman, he knows the terms and conditions of his assignment.
We are not a political party. We have no interest in candidates and parties. We are only interested in our processes and procedures.
One of the things I admire in him is that he's never intimidated. The man will just be smiling.
We in the committee were supporting him to do much better than what he did before, and I'm sure he's good enough for the job.
Pat on the back for Professor Mahmoud Yakubu gives him another ticket to the #1 INEC seat. Here comes the favored child. Will be sitting on the chair for the second time with peel of smile, but beyond the beaming smile lies his plans to end the title as the digital INEC chairman.
Let me reassure each and every Nigerian that the Commission is committed to expediting the process leading to the deployment of electronic voting machines in elections in earnest.
This is the ballot paper.
And to achieve this, he promised not to engage fly-by-night contractors. As a professor of history, having his name written on the positive side of the political history of Nigeria is a target. And those that will write that history are on the wings, monitoring his activities. Second term in office expects second-to-none performance. Mia Ogidi, NT News.
And in continuation of 2021 budget defense by the MDs, the Senate Committee on Health has urged the Committee of Chief Medical Directors of Tertiary Hospitals to come up with a proposal that will enable the National Assembly enact laws that will streamline payment for non-payment of staff on tertiary hospitals in the country.
Now, this was when some parastatals in the health sector appeared before it to defend their 2021 budget. Kenneth Nanim reports.
The Chief Medical Director of National Hospital Abuja made case for increment of the overhead cost in the 2021 appropriation for the tertiary hospitals to enable them pay non-permanent staff of their various institutions who are not enrolled in the IPPS, as well as foot order bills.
And the average teaching hospital has a burden of outsourced workers that need to be paid up to 300 to 400 million, depending on the size of the teaching hospital. Some teaching hospitals are quite large, up to 1,000 beds plus. Some, the average is about 600 beds. So you see that the cleaning of such a compound, the horticulture of such a compound, the security of such a compound takes enormous resources in terms of manpower that need to go. Unfortunately, this manpower has been outsourced for more than 10 years, and it has become difficult to fund their upkeep.
But for the lawmakers, adequate legislation will solve the issues.
Set up a committee that will come up with a short policy proposal on the requirements and the nature of professional temporary staff, so that we can come up with a law which will enable appropriation to be done against 2022 budget, so that the issue to be able to kill 2-3 birds that one law.
So let's have a law, create the subhead, then every year we have the limit to which you can take money, and that money is credited to that, put in that account, and the institution contributes their own percentage, and then you use it to run. Because if you leave it open, institutions will just there'll be abuse.
The committee acknowledged the effort of the health sector towards containing COVID-19 pandemic in the country and stands on the same page with heads of the health institutions on the claims that coronavirus pandemic slowed down the 2020 budgetary performance, but reiterated commitment to ensuring that facilities such as molecular laboratories, for which funds were provided for in the 2020 amended budget to contain COVID-19 in the country, are in place. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, Intercountry Center for Oral Health, JOS, and Federal Staff Hospital, Gwarempa, also defended their 2021 budgets. The Senate Committee on Health also demanded a comprehensive personnel nominal roll, as well as details of internally generated revenue from the agencies where they are not provided. A minute silence was also observed in honor of the frontliners who paid the ultimate price. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Now, there seemed to be a glimmer of hope for the establishment of national carrier, as the Ministry of Aviation has indicated that it is one of the priorities of the 2021 budget.
Now, those are cheering news indeed. It was made by the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, during his 2021 budget defense before the Senate Committee on Aviation. Ignatius Okwo reports.
The Minister of Aviation led management of agencies under the ministry to the budget defense meeting. 78.9 billion naira has been earmarked for capital expenditure at the headquarters, which will be channeled towards achieving federal government's aviation roadmap.
Now, some of these major roadmap programs include the establishment of national carrier, establishment of aerospace university with support of international civil aviation organizations.
The committee commended the federal government for what it described as an efficient job done at the Akwa Ibom International Airport, Enugu, and advised that such should be replicated across the country, especially the runways and lighting systems.
Quite a number of our airports are porous. There's still a lot of them that are porous. We are making these observations before we start doing the surgical operation, when the committee will sit down. That some of the airports are porous, we hope they are accommodated.
We don't have the resources to do it all at once. We're attending to them. We look at an airport, we find which is that safety item and which is that item of security that needs attention first before we now turn to other matters.
2021 budget scrutiny continued as the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, appeared before the Senate Committee on Niger Delta Affairs to defend the ministry's 2021 budget of 26.5 billion naira, with 19.5 billion to be spent on infrastructure.
But significantly, Mr. Chairman, you will notice that we have devoted the largest chunk of the budget towards the East-West Road.
The Federal Fire Service and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps also presented their 2021 budgets before the Senate Committee on Interior, which received express consideration to enable the security agencies focus on the ongoing security challenges in parts of the country. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Okwo, NTA News.
And the Ministry of Information and Culture has also presented a budget proposal of more than 7.2 billion naira for the year 2021 to the House of Representatives. Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Value. Anthony Forson brings us the details.
The over 7.2 billion naira budget proposal summary excluded the culture sector, which will be handled by the House Committee on Culture. The information sector, with a budget line and amount proposed, personnel will go 4.9 billion naira, overhead 900,507,000 naira, while capital, as related to information sector, has 1.9 billion naira. For capital, common to both information and culture, 380,534,000 is proposed. Explaining to members of the House Committee, Lai Mohammed said there is the need to step up enlightenment campaign on federal government's policies and programs through a multifaceted approach, given its core mandate.
Appreciating the fact that even though there is a marginal increase in the allocation to the ministry and its agencies this year, there is a far cry.
On projects and activities for the year 2020, the minister said out of the 1 billion, 13 million appropriated for capital expenditure, 1 billion, 1 million and 677,000 was released, while 105 million was also released for special enlightenment campaign on government programs and policies. Institutional interaction with stakeholders got 121,878,000 released. In all these releases and explanations by the minister, members sought to know the state of misinformation and why fake news seems to be thriving. But the minister was quick to respond.
We're not complaining about social media. We are complaining about the unbridled, unregulated social media. We are looking at the negative aspect of social media. So please don't misunderstand us. Nobody wants to shut down social media. Nobody wants to abolish social media because, like rightly said, it's the fastest means of disseminating news, but it's also the most dangerous means of disseminating fake news.
Chairman of the committee, Segun Odebumi, on behalf of other members, commended the minister for doing so much with little funding.
Ministry of Information and its agency are expected to be on top of their duties in ensuring proper, effective and timely dissemination of information as regards government activities.
He noted that efforts will be intensified for more funding to the ministry, given its statutory role in managing the image and reputation of the people and government of Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
All right, to still watching the news at 10, live from our studios here in Abuja. Now, when we return,
Judicial panel of inquiry in police brutality begins sitting in Lagos.
We will do our best to discharge justice .
glad to have you back on the news. Let's now turn our attention to national security concerns, and we begin from Lagos, where the Judicial Panel of Inquiry and Restitution, which was instituted to investigate citizens' allegations leveled against the disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS, has commenced sitting, and INEC has the report of the preliminary hearings.
Justice Doris Okowobi of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry for Restitution has so far received 15 petitions from abused victims of the disbanded Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS. Among the petitions, 4 were presented before the courts this Tuesday. In his statement, Okoliagu Abunike said he tendered his resignation letter after 4.5 years of working with a private firm. He said he was later invited by his former employer and accused of fraud. He revealed that he was subsequently tortured by SARS operatives and spent about 47 days in custody. His property documents and a car were taken from him by SARS.
17 kVA generator, 50 bags of cement, 400 planks of wood, building wood, 5 kV inverter and battery has not been returned.
3 other victims also appeared before the panel.
We will do our best to discharge justice as it regards SARS abuses.
We have a database of lawyers ready to give their services for free for the purposes of these panels.
Adjourned their cases until when the SARS operatives involved are present. Justice Doris Okowobi adjourned proceedings to Friday, 30th October for further hearing. In Lagos, Lane Lenake, NTA News.
And in Akwa Ibom State, the judicial panel investigating incidents of police brutality has also held its inaugural sitting.
Correspondent Clement Barikui reports that the panel asked Nigerians to take advantage of the various panels of inquiry in their respective states to articulate a more humane alternative engagement mechanism for police and other security agencies.
It is day one and the inaugural sitting of the judicial panel investigating incidences of police brutality in Akwa Ibom State, and the 8-member panel is ready to hear complaints of human rights violation, brutality and extrajudicial killings by the police. The panel may not have the power to prosecute, but will certainly make recommendations on sanctions and compensations for victims to the government, and this it promises to do without sentiments.
New ways of doing things by the police in the best interest of the public and national security can only emerge if those who have the knowledge in these things come before these panels and place those ideas at our disposal.
Expectations are high as the people await the outcome of investigations by the judicial panel, while hoping government will speedily implement same.
People should not use previous experiences to prejudge what will happen in respect of this panel.
The expectation is that justice will be done as far as that panel is concerned.
This looting that happened in Akwa Ibom, for example, will it be captured by the committee?
The panel has 3 months to submit its reports. In Uyo, Clement Barikui, NTA News.
Now, less than 2 weeks to the reopening of NYSC camps across the country, some hoodlums have invaded the NYSC FCT orientation camp in Kubwa. Olanka Ojo reports.
The NYSC orientation camp in Kubwa is the latest public place to be invaded and vandalized by hoodlums who had hijacked the NSAS protest to loot and perpetrate mayhem. The hoodlums broke the stores and carted away NYSC kits, mattresses and other camp facilities.
The youth claim they are hunting for palliatives. NYSC camps, we don't have palliatives in our camps. We are preparing for resumption for our orientation, and that's what we are doing. So please, I'm appealing to Nigerians youth not to attack our camps. We don't have any palliative there. Please, so you can imagine the youth here carted away with our uniform. It is illegal for you to use NYSC uniform. And if you are caught, you go to jail for 3 years. So we want to appeal to those that have carted our uniforms, so please return them.
Some of the hoodlums were, however, caught by security operatives and handed over to the police for prosecution, as directed by the FCT minister. Olanka Ojo, NTA News.
And still in the FCT, the Territories Police Command has paraded 51 suspected looters who carted away food items from the various warehouses in the Federal Capital Territory.
And while parading the suspects, the FCT Commissioner for Police, Blab Chiruma, warns that the command will not condone any act capable of undermining the safety of lives and property of residents. Akwa Ibom reports.
Parading the 59 arrested suspects with the looted items, which they stole from the warehouses in Jabi Dakibu, Idu Industrial Area, and Karimo, the FCT Commissioner CP Bala, especially looting and vandalism within the FCT.
In compliance with the directives of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Muhammad Adamu Abubakar, MPM, MNI, on the mobilization of all operational assets to avert further malicious damage on public/private properties and prevent all forms of violence, the command has deployed tactical strategies such as diligent motorized foot patrols, with sister deployment of personnel to key infrastructures, collaboration with sister security agencies, partnership with community stakeholders, and other covert strategies.
The suspects were mainly young men.
The word for person, can't carry a bike. That time, this thing can't happen to me.
They can't arrest me for nothing.
I don't close. Another person you bring machine for me, you know, come carry on. At the wait, army come catch me. You don't tear my clothes.
I don't see army for roads. Army come ask me say where I come from. I say I'm from church. I come carry my Bible. He say I can't come. Just say I do for job. I can't do for job. Finish. He can't beat me.
The commissioner, however, appealed to residents to remain calm and be law-abiding as the command has evolved strategies to protect lives and property of residents. Akwa Ibom, NTN News.
And you're still watching the news at 10, reaching you live from our studios in Abuja on NTN News 24. We're going to break now. More stories when we return.
Advertising your goods and services on the right channel gives you an edge over your competitors. NTA News 24 has all the platforms for your target audience. The station is on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46, StarTimes channel 101, and Free TV channel 703. With our digital format and wide range, we can reach your customers in next to no time. We are eager to promote your business, goods and services. So, partner with us for a very rewarding business experience. For more information, please call Henry on 0803-379-0884 or visit our office at NTA.
24 hours a day. NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.